Michael Gove, a man so close to David Cameron for so long that he once invited him to his wedding. Well, now they're on opposite sides campaigning against each other for the biggest decision the UK has faced in decades, to remain in the EU or to leave. Now, with under a month to go until polling, the Justice Secretary took his campaign to the second city today with the aim to demolish the Prime Minister's case to remain in the EU, as well as introduce a fresh standpoint on a reformed points-based system for all migrants coming to the UK.
At the moment, we've got an unfair immigration policy. If you're a citizen of the European Union, you can come here, even if you don't have a job offer, even if you don't have skills. But highly skilled people who would be really valuable if they come from Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, or any other country outside the European Union cannot come here on the same term.
Now, the Remain campaign, they're saying that this proposal could actually wreck the UK economy and could drive up immigration.
This policy would enable us to control immigration. As long as we remain in the European Union, we have no control over the number of people who come here from other EU countries. And the European Union also want to give visa-free travel to 77 million additional people from Turkey. If we leave the European Union, we can decide how many people come here.
Yes, Michael Gove, alongside party members Boris Johnson and Priti Patel, may have stepped up their attack on Vote Remain with a blueprint on the immigration system. But as part of its push to encourage people to vote to stay in, the National Trade Union Centre today published research claiming UK wages will be £38 a week lower by 2030 if we choose to leave.
It's not a lot for politicians, but what about the millions of workers out there that it could really make a big difference to?
If we leave the European Union, working people will be better off. One of the problems that we've had as members of the European Union is that it's been designed in the interests of the multinationals and big businesses who like cheap labour. It hasn't been designed in the interests of working people.
The economy and immigration clearly dominate both sides of the argument when it comes to the EU referendum. In fact, politicians, they stand accused of making misleading claims about the pros and the cons when it comes to swaying voters in on their side. But after months of campaigning, what do the voters really think?
I think we should be out. I think we waste a lot of money for not a lot back. And I think that we should have a better control of our own country.
In. I just think it's worked so far and there's no point in leaving because there's too much of a risk.
I think it would be very bad for the country if we move out. This thing about we can easily negotiate with Europe to continue to sell our goods, I don't believe that at all.
I'm from Finland, so I don't know what will happen to me at the end of the day because I'll come here as part of the EU. I've been part of the EU. The reason why I'm living here because I am part of the EU. If we leave, but I don't know whether does that mean I have to leave too?
Despite the majority of people I spoke to today that want to remain in the EU, the polls couldn't be tighter.
Well, at the moment, I'm not looking at the polls. I'm concentrating on making the arguments.
And with the Conservatives split in two, what does this mean for the party?
Do you feel that your party is about to rip apart?
The one thing that it won't do is change who the Prime Minister is. That was decided in the general election last year for the next 5 years. So all you're doing, if you vote to leave, is giving the Prime Minister a clear set of instructions that you want him to lead our country out of the European Union.
For now, the campaign continues. For the UK, as well as Europe, this decision will determine identity and how the country sees its place in the world. Monica Plaha, Big News in Birmingham.